You're listening to the Bob and Bo Show. Here are your hosts, Tybo, and Sean. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I am Ty Bob, joined by Tybo and Sean. We are here on Thursday, watching the Thursday night football game, Eagles versus Texans. But on Sunday night football, the Kansas City Chiefs are returning from their bye week. They will be going head-to-head with the Tennessee Titans at Arrowhead. I don't know what the NFL was thinking here. Titans are an okay team, but I don't know what they were thinking here, having the Kansas City Chiefs play on Sunday night football after having an entire week off. They must just hate our fan base. It sucks having to wait this literally the longest you can go after already playing a Monday night game. It sucks.
We put butts in seats, butts on couches. We gave viewership for the NFL. They should break the rule for us and just let us play all primetime games. So
that's fair.
The over will hit every time if you play.
Just about.
The only exception to that rule is Tennessee. Nashville doesn't know how to sell anything. Well, folks, we do have a hell of a game coming up, but that also means that we need to check the injury report. Now, we're coming off of a bye week, so we should be fairly healthy. Great and fantastic news for the Kansas City Chiefs. Corner Trent McDuffie has come off the IR, and he will be available to play. Spags alluded to there possibly being some sort of snap count, but we'll have to see once they get into the game. Going through the rest of it, Jody Fortson had a quad and an illness issue. He has not practiced on Wednesday or Thursday. Willie Gay had a slight hamstring issue coming out of the bye week. He was a light practice on Wednesday, but he did have a full practice on Thursday. The offensive tackle, Prince Tega, I'm not even going to pronounce the last name. I'll try, because that's going to be a fine. But Prince Tega did have a rib issue. He was a full, or there was nothing on him on Wednesday, but on Thursday he was a full practice. Everybody else on this list was a full participant in practice through the rest of the week. They were just on here for little issues. Mike Dana, it's good to see that he's been a full practice. McCole with a heel issue, Jerick McKinnon with his shoulder issue, and Derek Nottie with his Achilles issue. But we seem to be getting back fully healthy outside of Jody. What are your guys' thoughts on the injury report so far in Kansas City? Anything stick out to you outside of obviously Trent McDuffie?
I think it's just unfortunate that Jody Fortson is out, but him being on the injury list doesn't quite affect our offense that much. I know it's fun when he catches a touchdown, but he's not the main red zone guy. He's just kind of he's a fill-in, he's a backup. So it sucks that he's out because he's a fan favorite. I'm hype every time Jody's on the field when I'm in Arrowhead, but nothing too concerning.
It's fine, by the way.
Whatever.
No, I like seeing all these guys that have been injured and on the injury report for the past few weeks finally being full participants in practice whenever they're on the injury report now. It's great to see.
Yes. Going on to the Tennessee Titans, they did have quite a few non-participants through Wednesday and Thursday. Fullback Torrey Carter, safety Amani Hooker, defensive tackle Naquan Jones, another defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. Those few did not practice at all through 2 days. That would be a big loss for them, for Armani Hooker and Jeffrey Simmons, to have both of them out. Light participants with full practices or non-participant due to rest on Thursday. We have got offensive lineman Aaron Brewer, running back Derrick Henry, defensive lineman Sam. I'm not going to pronounce that last name either.
You got to try it, man. Come on, once.
Oh man. No shot. No shot. No. No. I'm just gonna butcher that. That's disgusting. And then we also had defensive lineman Kevin Strong, and quarterback Ryan Tannehill. He was a non-participant in Thursday's practice. I'm assuming that just has to be down to rest. Then your full participant was outside linebacker Rashad Weaver. Uh, with some others, nose tackle and guard Nate Davis and Tier Tart, respectively, both having light practices on Thursday. So they've got quite a few non-participants and light practice players. What are you guys' thoughts when you look at Tennessee's injury report?
They're
They've
banged
got a
up.
lot of.
They're old.
That's all you can really say about them, man. They've got a lot of guys injured right now. They haven't had their bye week yet. We're coming in fresh, coming in ready to go. I mean, we'll see if Malik Willis plays because that'll be interesting.
That would
Have you
be
guys
interesting.
been-
He played poorly last week.
Have you guys been seeing it? It's like it's a ranking system, but it's based on how healthy you are. I don't know which ending it out, but it's been on Twitter for like the past 4 or 5 weeks at least. And Kansas City's in the top five. Like they're at 84% healthy. So or whatever the scale was. I don't know if it's just like a total players healthy, but we're top. So
It's interesting. We are known
hallelujah.
for
We aren't used to this.
I mean, we aren't used to having a fully healthy team, but also we are used to having one of the better medical staffs in the league where
Yeah.
if we are injured, the guys are that it and it's not like detrimental. Obviously, the freak accidents happen where somebody goes down for the season, but we are known for being able to rehab players and get them back out onto the field very quickly. Um, Not given the serious injuries. Tybo, or Sean, actually, you said it's nice to see the Chiefs being fresh um, out there. And I got to tell you, folks, we've got a fresh lineup of Tybo's top fives coming at you on a solid Friday.
fresh team, fresh top five. Is that a long pause, guys?
It's a long pause.
No, work's been ridiculous past couple of weeks. I haven't had a whole lot of time to think of my own top fives, so this is a quick suggestion, pretty easy. But top five football movies.
Ooh.
I'm picky because like I usually don't like sports movies. There's only a few ways you can do them. They're all kind of cheesy, but this is the best list I feel like I can come up with, and I do have one honorable mention. It's sad. Um, might not hold up well in today's society, but radio. Radio also it just kind of touches home a little bit because my whole family has been involved with like work related to people with disabilities. So it's when you see a certain side of things and like they actually do depict things decently in Hollywood sometimes. Radio was a tearjerker for my family that watched the movie for sure, but my mom doesn't like movies. Moving into the top five. Number 5 is Friday Night Lights. Good old Tim McGraw's in this movie. It's where the line, if you want to win, put Booby in.
That's the person you say for this movie, Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw's in it.
I know, but that's the first person you think of whenever you hear this movie.
Yes. What other actor comes to mind? What other actor?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay, whatever. Tim McGraw.
He steals the show.
Obviously. I mean, in a bad way, because his character's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
But if you want to win, put Booby in. Like we were yelling that on high school sidelines all the time. We had somebody named Miles, so we just called him Booby Miles. So we will be chanting, if you want to win, put Booby in. It's hilarious. Number 4 might be low on the list for some of the viewers and some of you guys, but number 4 is Remember the Titans. This is the classic movie. Still kind of cheesy, but it works. This is the football movie that made a generation of kids fall in love with football. So Definitely has to make the list, but again, I'm not a big sports movie guy.
Strong side.
Left. All right. uh, number 3 is Invincible. Um, I guess as a kid, I liked Mark Wahlberg as an actor. As a younger man, I did. I could care less for him now, but Dick Vermeil was portrayed in this movie, so I thought that was cool. Being a Chiefs fan, I was like, "Hey, it was the Leonardo DiCaprio meme from
Once upon a
Time in
time.
Hollywood." Yeah. Number 2, also doesn't hold up well anymore, but Adam Sandler comedies rarely do. Waterboy. My sister and I quote this movie quite often. It's hilarious.
Whose balls the devil?
Oh my god, that's Adam Sandler was one of my favorite actors growing up. Like Billy Madison was a favorite movie of mine as well. So Waterboy falls right in line with that. Number 1, also Adam Sandler, Longest Yard. But Nelly was in this movie. A lot of like famous wrestlers were in this movie. I mean, you couldn't beat it. They even brought back the old actor. They, uh, what's his dick? Burt Reynolds. You said,
Yeah.
yeah. they brought back
Sports
they
a
brought back
touchdown.
Burt Reynolds in the in the remake and all that. Good movie, lots of laughs. Uh, Especially when the dude just like big boots the guy right in the nose, breaks his nose. That's
Poked it in my nose.
yeah, but that's my top 5. I would like to hear from others the like movies that I've missed. What movies that hold a special place in your heart? Because I'm like I said, I'm not a big sports movie guy, but you can obviously see where my taste leans with my top 5.
I got one for you. Gridiron Gang with The Rock.
Deserves to be there.
That was a classic.
It was a tearjerker as well.
It was. I only remember this movie because I went to go see it with my friend. While we are in the theater, the movie discontinued and stopped playing, and had to give us free tickets to go back and watch it. Never went back to
Neat.
watch it. Watched it on
Never.
TV instead. It was the stupidest thing, man.
You didn't take the free tickets
I watched
to
another movie
go.
with the free tickets,
Oh,
There you go.
but
not bad, not bad.
it's like the last day for Gridiron Gang. Stupidest shit ever.
I
So
was
you
a
didn't
really
like
big.
it?
Oh, go ahead. You didn't
You
like it?
didn't like it?
No, I love Gridiron Gang, but like the experience
Oh,
watching it in theaters was terrible.
oh, okay. You
I
must have
was.
been to a shitty theater.
Yeah. Well, it's probably
Yeah.
AMC out on Berry Road.
No,
He
it was like
doesn't.
a
He lives in
I
mid
know.
Missouri.
I know. They're all the same.
No, they're
yeah.
not.
I know.
They're not.
I was a really big fan of Draft Day with Kevin Costner. Thought that was a really good one. Um, Kind of shows behind the scenes of whatever everything's going on with the GMs as well. I thought they portrayed that portion really well. But probably one that would be in my top 5 if I was to do one would be We Are Marshall with Matthew McConaughey and the dude from Lost. Really, really tragic story, but definitely worth the watch.
That's a very good take there. That was a
Thanks
very
for thanks for the suggestions because I don't think I've seen, like, except for Gridiron Gang. I haven't seen either of your suggestions, Tybo.
I would highly recommend them both if you get the opportunity to. If at least one of them, We Are Marshall, since it was based on the true story of what happened to the Marshall herd, the herd. Um, yeah, those are some great movies. But there's got to be a movie made this weekend. Patrick Mahomes is known for what he can do in the playoffs against the Tennessee Titans.
yeah, he can definitely play in the playoffs against them. But in the last 4 regular season games, Ty Bob, the Chiefs have lost. One of those was coming off a bye. Andy has only lost 3 games off a bye in his career, and one of those was against the Titans. What do we think coming off this bye playing prime time this week?
Does it mean trap game? Can
Does
we
it?
call this a trap game with our history against the Titans?
But Andy's history against the bye as well. That's is it
You
really truly a trap game?
Well, you can't call it a trap game because it's not a bad team. They're obviously not on the Kansas City Chiefs level. However, they are sitting in second place in the AFC right now, while the Chiefs sit in third. They do have, I believe, the same record at 5-2, but they have lost a lesser amount of AFC games. Both the Kansas City Chiefs losses come from within the AFC. Only one loss. Actually, I don't even know if a single loss from the Titans comes from within the AFC, which means at this present point in time, they sit at number 2 while we sit at 3. I believe the definition of a trap game has to be against an opponent who is clearly inferior with an inferior record. Um, I think that's the qualifiers.
It's a trap game.
We know how
Dude, we're
well
too
these
good.
teams are.
Dude, we're too good coming off a bye. Like Andy's too good, man. It can't it can't it can't happen. He's too good coming off of a bye. We don't have Like we've had a couple bad games here and there, but the offense is clicking. We're getting defensive players back. Yeah, Frank Clark is gone, but it's not like he contributes to anything anyways. Like I think we're set up much better against the Tennessee Titans than we have in previous seasons, and that even includes the playoff win in the AFC Championship game. Like I think we are a much better team than that team was even in the playoffs.
Well, we're a much better team than them, period. Right? Like the Titans. That's why I joked about it earlier on, but like Chiefs fans can consider pretty much every game here on out trap games because we're better than them. And I know you were saying we're better than we have been previously, but it's it's one of those things that if our coaches are any good at motivating our guys, they're going to be talking about our how bad we've been in the regular season against them. So I think Pat had a quote about it as well earlier on this week about they kicked our ass last year or something like that. So expect like yeah, I'm as a Chiefs fan, as a loyal Chiefs fan that knows this team, I am a little bit worried about it, but I'm hoping that these boys are ready to play.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be any question about how we're going to come out and play. It was interesting. I saw a tweet earlier while we're on the subject of Patrick Mahomes. It came from Rob Collins. It said with 105 passing yards against Tennessee on Sunday night, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes will surpass Matthew Stafford 21,254 passing yards for the most passing yards ever by a quarterback in their first 75 starts. That would be Patrick Mahomes' 70th start, and he would be surpassing that by with 105 yards. He'll be surpassing it in 5 earlier games.
He's
How
just staying
insane
breaking
is this?
records. Staying breaking records. Another crazy
Can
record
we?
about Patrick right now. Another one that I saw recently. Through 8 weeks. Remember, Pat's only played 7 weeks. He's number one in pass yards, number one in touchdowns, and number one in passer rating.
Is that the quarterback triple crown?
It's got to be.
It's going to fall off though because we lost Tyreek. As Keenan Allen said, these boys are going to get exposed, or somebody's going to get exposed.
Can we even call these things records anymore? Like he's done this amount of stuff through the first whatever part of his career. Like they're not quite records yet. He's on
Accomplishments.
like we can say
Accomplishments.
he's on pace to shatter a lot of records, but I think we get the people out there that search for those kind of things are a little
We'll say accomplishments.
cracked
How about
out.
that?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, I would say accomplishments. I mean, they're going to go down in a record book, but it's not necessary. It's not necessarily like a full career record. So I could agree with that.
Like
It's definitely
you got game records, season records, career records. Like
that's fair.
outside of that, you're really like,
Milestones.
what are you saying? Like,
We're saying that Patrick Mahomes is a goat on his
I
way
agree.
to
With,
be the goat.
I agree with that.
Bah.
I don't know. I don't know how 10 other teams passed up on a guy like that. Like, how did we even get into a situation that we were allowed to take this man? But
Oh, you had Deshaun go above, which that is probably he definitely deserved to at the time go above. There were no legal issues, and he was a two-time
that
national
we knew
champion.
of.
That's fair. He's multi-time national champion. He's gonna go in the top three every single time. Um, the the Bears taking Mitch, that franchise is just completely dysfunctional. Um, there's a few other just complete dysfunctions as well. And then obviously who you have and what positions you need. But agreed. There he definitely should have gone probably in the top five and had some other teams trade up.
Yeah. And for Patrick Mahomes, the new weapon, Kadarius Stoney. What do you guys think his role will be this week? You think he's going to get a lot of playing time, or just special teams? Like,
I'm I can tell you what I'm hoping for is that he is already the one who's returning punts. I say, I mean, ease him into the offense. Actually, let Sky Moore develop a little bit more in the offense, and then after a full 2 weeks of knowing, getting the playbook. I mean, I know it's been a bye, but going out there and playing is totally different. So I'm expecting five, maybe sub five snaps for him on offense, but really, really hoping he gets there to return punts.
Um, I think offensively, it's going to be a low point. Don't expect him to be able to come in and there's going to be some familiarity with the terminology used. Look at Mike Kafka, who's the OC in New York. He's going to have some similarities there. Um, but it was nice to see him at practice starting on Tuesday. Picture and a tweet from Adam Teicher. Um, Teicher did say, I'm trying to find it here, on today, Wednesday, as far as special teams go, the Chiefs will move away from Sky Moore as the exclusive punt returner. Dave Toub said he would be part of the rotation and said that Kadarius Toney could get some work as early as Sunday against the Titans. So for his
Good.
role, he's still going to have to number one get the offensive playbook down. It's going to ramp up every single week, but consider it to be low for this week. But as far as special teams goes, if he gets the start as a punt returner on Sunday night, expect him to not lose that role, period. At least for Sunday night's game.
here's another question for you guys. Do you think Mike Kafka went in there as a plant to prep Kadarius Stoney to be traded to the Chiefs?
Well, no. That's a really good question because I saw
Thank
earlier.
you. Thank you.
Um, no, I saw earlier that Patrick Mahomes had spoke with Andy Reid during this past offseason about trading for Kadarius Toney. So that's actually that man. I didn't even think about Kafka being a little plant for that, but I mean, sure as hell could have been.
Busting out the old Tyreek Hill playbook there. Just getting a like mini Tyreek Hill light pretty much if he stays healthy.
I think I, in the screen game, this dude could be an animal. Like,
Yeah.
let's just throw bubble screens and tunnel screens and all that shit to him.
I'll put a video up here, but he looks 100% healthy from Wednesday's practice. For anybody who's wondering about the health issues, he already came out and obviously said that there weren't no health issues that were going on. He was just being held out. But this video of him cutting in the middle of practice shows that the knees look pretty healthy.
Yeah, I think they were just kind of holding him out in New York for a little bit. He may have gotten injured earlier in the year, but I think they were definitely just like, you're not playing for us for a little bit. Take some time. You want to get traded. You're not picking it up here. So
There was another little bit of interesting news about the special teams that Dave Tube was talking about. This one comes from Charles Goldman. He said the special teams coordinator, Dave Tube, suggests that corner Trent McDuffie will eventually get worked back into the special teams as a returner. Um, quote, he's just getting back, so we don't want to put too much on his plate right now. But that was apparently one of the initial plans at the beginning of the season prior to the injury. So expect there to be probably a 3 or 4 man rotation between McDuffie, Tony, McCole, and Sky Moore.
Not even necessary. That would be annoying. Don't put him back there.
Ride the hot hand, right? Like you can't just keep changing these. Obviously, if somebody's gassed, you got to pull them out and put someone else in. Or if there's like the mistakes, but realistically, you have to ride the hot hand. You can't just be jumping around. That's how you get muff punts.
Yeah.
At this point, for me it has to be McCall or KT. Like those are the only two guys that I want returning the ball. Sky Moore's got other stuff to worry about. Let's get him involved in the offense because he can be great with the ball in his hands. So let's just punt the punt returning shit and come on. Like I mean, I don't know. We don't need to force it. Like
Just let them do what they can do, man. Tony's
exactly.
Tony's returned punts before. McColl's returned punts before. Sky hasn't. Speaking of
That's what I
guys
said,
that
basically.
quarterback talk, fine, fuck it.
Glad you called it out.
Speaking of guys just learning playbooks, Ty Bob, you were saying earlier something about Orlando Brown just learning stuff from OTAs.
Yeah, so there was a tweet. Goodness, it was a coming
Goodness
from
me.
coming from Rocky on Twitter. He was bring some information from one of the pressers, and Chiefs offensive line coach Andy Heck was saying that Orlando Brown is just now getting caught up to speed from all the time that he missed in the offseason. Um, if this is true, which is wild because he's been in the offense, and we do know that Andy Reid's offense is a massive playbook. It is very hard to get, and he would have missed 7 days of install, which that would be a lot in the OTAs. But being in the offense, like how dumb and ridiculous is that? Is that you as a multi-year veteran are not caught up to speed on a team you've been with for over a year now? How's that even possible?
Expecting to get paid big in the offseason.
Nobody in the world is going to touch Patrick Mahomes.
Do we really think the problems that he was having was like playbook related or just like he needed to step it up a bit? Because I don't necessarily buy that.
I don't buy it. I think it's a lame excuse. He definitely had to step it up. Um, well, we also saw this last year, and last year has to be chalked up to like learning the offense. But there's no excuses for this year. You wanted the money. You bet on yourself. You got to go out and get the money. You can't just beat around the bush and not play well and then blame it on not knowing the playbook because you decided to hold out.
After eight
If
weeks.
he if he plays well, particularly in the playoffs, do we pay him?
In the playoffs, probably not. If he turns it around now, and this is part of the other issue I would have with paying him, is that he's now
Okay,
spent two
hang real
years.
quick.
Oh,
Hang
go
on,
ahead.
hang on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
quite a turnaround, right? Like, I mean, he's just kind of been wishy-washy. He's had really good games and he's had really bad games.
It's fair.
Am I right?
A turnaround
You're not wrong.
in levels of consistency, I should say.
Okay. So being more consistent.
Right. So if he
Consistently
has
good.
correct. Yes. No more low points except for like a play here or there, right? Because that's going to happen through a game, but consistently good playing level through an entire game. That's going to be 2 years in a row that that's happened because last year in the first half of the season, it was the same thing with Orlando Brown. He was wishy-washy. There was no consistency. And then he turned it around in the second half of the season. So I would say we would probably pay him not the money that he wants, uh, if he was able to be on a consistent form. But if it's just still wishy-washy and then he gets consistent come the playoffs, that's not going to warrant a paycheck from the Chiefs at least.
Yeah, if
Definitely
we
not.
continue to see what has happened in the first half of the season, I would be totally fine letting him walk and trying to draft a fantastic tackle. Like,
There was an issue with him in Baltimore. He wanted to be traded because he wanted to play left tackle, and they were primarily playing him at right tackle. If he was willing to take that right tackle spot for the Kansas City Chiefs in this next year, taking obviously a little less money, would you guys be up for him moving to right tackle, knowing that he plays better there, and going into the draft to get a guy at the left tackle?
I would love it, but there's no way he would do it
I don't
unless
think
we
so
keep
either, unless he
winning.
wants to get paid, because he's going to get he's undoubtedly would get paid more money as a right tackle than he would as a left tackle at this
Yeah,
point in time. And I'm not a big
how
proponent of
does
Wiley nor Niang.
I don't know how that makes sense, but I think it. I mean, depending on like how good the left tackles that are available in the draft upcoming, um, I would love it. I mean, go ahead and move over to the right tackle, but I like Sean said, I don't think it's gonna
I wouldn't think so either. But we if he doesn't move over, we're out left and right. So now we'd have to go and get a left and a right cover for defensive tackles, receivers. Good thing is we have at minimum like a little over $80 million in cap space next year, and the numbers are crunched right. Correct extensions are made. We could have just over $118 million in cap space this upcoming offseason.
that
118
should
million.
that should scare other front offices.
That's top four. That is top four in the NFL
Red Beach,
in
man.
terms of cap space available. In Veach we trust, baby.
I thought we had to make some specific moves just to get 80.
Nope. We're sitting pretty. We're
Nope.
sitting pretty. No, because a
But
lot of
watch
the
out.
don't forget
Because
the
we're not
dead
paying
cap.
anybody outside of like
That's
five guys.
well, don't forget the reason why we're in a little bit of a cap issue right now is because the dead cap that came along with a lot of the cuts that we have, and we've been paying guys on off their longer contracts and delaying it and so forth. Most of that comes off the books next year or after this season. So we're going to be sitting really pretty.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
Sean's getting giddy.
We are going to we're going to have a hell of an offseason talking about all the players that could be coming into Kansas City as well.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
You got to think it would be a premier destination for a player.
Oh yeah.
After what's happening this year with our offense without Tyreek, just imagine where we're going to go next year.
There's
Imagine
going to
the
be a
guys.
couple of guys on our own defense that are going to be up for money as well. You're looking at a guy like Willie Gay. You could extend Nick Bolton really quickly and continue on with the rookie deal, so you don't have to pay a premium too far after that. We've obviously got to pay L'Jarius Sneed, and these guys are all playing fantastic right now as well. I'm excited to see them back in action after the bye week against Tennessee's uh, somewhat stagnant offense, but really to be stout against Derrick Henry again.
Do you think we would ever pair somebody up with newly drafted Trent McDuffie? Or do you think we're going to go defensive line there down the road for a free agent signing?
Oh, Veach has already said he's going all out on defensive line. He said that in the preseason that he was going in 23. He was going all in on defensive line. So watch out.
That's
Watch out.
where we've clearly needed the help.
That and I think we've got the DB room kind of covered. If you give LJ the money, we've got Jalen Watson, we've got Josh Williams. We'll obviously need to bring in a couple guys for depth, but realistically, we're already set.
Just imagine us coming out next year. That's always been the plan. They're going to build up. That's why Patrick got the 10-year contract. They looked at him and said, hey, this year we're going to build up this year this. Love to see it. Speaking of defensive line, Frank Clark being out, how do you think the defensive line is going to play this week?
It's not going to be a whole lot different. I don't think the talent level drops at all or a whole lot when you go from Frank Clark to Carlos Dunlap. That's going to be the main guy that's filling in. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Carlos Dunlap's probably going to have an uptick in snap count. Um, so I'm not that worried about it. And Chris Jones is probably going to eat anyways. So Willie Gay's back. Look for us to continue the exotic blitzes and like moving Karloftis and Chris Jones around. Um, we're going to do what we can to stop a mediocre offense, and I think we score enough points that it's going to be a non-factor.
Will the skills and lockdown of what we've seen of Trent McDuffie in the preseason and week one, will that affect the pass rush for us? Or do you think him coming back will be eased in and slow?
I think he'll get the start right away, but rarely ever do you see corners be able to affect the defensive line's play. It's usually the other way around. The only
Yeah.
time in which
Yeah, but do you know what I mean by saying that as far as he'll be able to cover a little bit longer and not have an open target on one side of the field more, or make the quarterback hold
So
the
yeah,
ball just a little bit
giving the
longer,
D line that like
just a little bit more
half
time?
second,
time.
second,
Yeah.
like to
Do you
go
Yeah,
think
after the
that's
it,
going to
quarterback.
affect it, or
I think that will definitely help, but don't forget also the talent level that he's going against.
yeah?
It's not good. So I think even without McDuffie, even if he is on a snap count, um, yeah, I like this week. It's very nice to have because it's going to be an ease in week for Trent McDuffie and a good snap like lower snap count week. He's not going to have to go in and make an immediate impact right away. Because we've already seen one, the guys that we have are good enough, and two, the team that we're playing doesn't really have the skill set on the outside to be able to match anything. And with that, I think the defensive line is going to be able to plug up some holes. Chris Jones loves playing against a rushing team. I know he's known more for like his pass rushing abilities, but the dude likes to clog a couple lanes, especially against premier running backs. Derrick Henry's that guy. I think he's put up over 200 yards in the last 3 games, 3 games in a row. Um, he likes to chop the head off of Kings out there in the backfield. Chris Jones is going to be gunning for him.
So real quick again on McDuffie, like when he's in there, the way he would affect the or help out the pass rush is taking away the number one option in a quarterback's progression. So if he's got the number one option locked down, like the quarterback's going to have to take more time and move through the progression, and therefore take more time in the pocket or just take more time to pass. So I guess you are right that he can help out the defensive line. And I mean, for how long we've waited for him to get back, like in off season, he came back fairly quickly with a hamstring issue. So I feel like this is kind of the same thing. So we've waited quite a bit. I hope I mean, he's gonna get the start. I don't think I'm doubting that at all. But you got to hope he's healthy for how long we've waited.
I
Another
wouldn't
interesting
doubt the
thing.
health, just more game speed. That's going to be the big
Yeah.
factor. Is just making sure he's up to game speed. He only played a portion of the first game, so it's it's probably not the health. It's just got to watch the game speed, make sure he's mentally and physically up for that task.
And I think that'll only take like a drive or two really to get him back into it. It's football. He's played it enough times. I know he's just a rookie, but still. Another interesting
And
thing about the Titans here, though, they are number two in the NFL in red zone efficiency, sitting at 76.47%. Do you guys know who number one is?
Kansas City, isn't it?
It's Kansas City, 76.67. So it's very close. Do you think that's going to affect what they do against us, or do you think that our defense will be able to keep them out of the red zone enough times to force them to field goals or punting it?
I think we've done enough to show that against even good offenses, we can really be stout. You go back to the Buffalo game, they only scored 24 points. That high powered offense went stalwart a few times. And so to be able to put that up against a team who, yeah, they're good in the red zone, but really behind the 50, they're quite awful. So as long as you don't give up good field position, which isn't something that the Kansas City Chiefs ever do, that defense should be able to be able to stand.
Are you expecting the turnovers to continue into this week, or do you expect us to just hold them?
Like forcing turnovers?
Yeah.
I bet we get one. I bet we get one.
What are you calling right now? Interception or fumble? Because we've had a lot more fumbles this year than interceptions.
Juan Thornhill interception. He's due for one.
Bold. Bold.
He's
I
due for
would
one.
I would say fumble.
Quarterback strip or Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry.
I like that. I like that. Calling it now.
Chris Jones.
Dude's got a bad taste in their mouth from last year too. Like there's a lot of dudes are still on the team from last year's
Yeah, Pat
horrendous
obviously
game.
does. Pat obviously has a bad taste in his mouth.
And they don't like that, man. Like I don't like that. I was coming home from your wedding, Tybo,
Yep.
and I stopped off at the casino on my way home from St. Louis, and boy, what an awful game! Should not have stopped, but yeah, I 110% expect a 180 from last year. This is going to be an ass kicking of proportions coming from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Speaking of ass kicking of proportions, do you have the over under or the total points over here?
Uh, Let me grab that bad boy really quickly. We are looking at from
We
a
can't
sports.
forget
Go ahead.
Tybo's going first still.
Tybo is going first still. From a sports book that shall
This doesn't
not.
even matter. We're all gonna pick the Chiefs here.
I know, but I want you to go with the score first.
Okay.
From a sports book that shall remain unnamed, the Tennessee Titans are playing in Kansas City while the Chiefs remain a 12.5 point favorite at home. The over under is 45.
41-25. No, 41-27.
41 to 27, Tybo says.
Chiefs.
I'm going to go 38-17. Chiefs.
To 38-17. I'm also going to take the Chiefs here, and we're going to win 35 to 12.
Ooh.
All field goals.
All field goals. I'm going to hit on one of these. All right. I'm going to hit on one of these all field goals. It's going to be a hell of a game. Kansas City's coming off the bye. Andy Reid is great. We're getting the defense back and healthy. I'm excited to see the young rookie Trey McDuffie finally get back out there. I'm going to be so excited to see Kadarius Toney wearing the Chiefs red.
Fine.
He seems like in his
Fine.
Toney, damn, that is fine.
Dude,
Tony,
stop that.
I don't know why.
Toney, what?
I'm stuck on our left guard. Toney. Gosh dang it. I'm excited to see him wearing red. And in his pressers, he seems like he's very, very, very happy to be in Kansas City, which is good to see a culture change like that. It's going to be a wild ride. Make sure you're tuning in Sunday night. I'm sorry, Chiefs Kingdom, that you have to wait so long for this game to be played. But alas,
Hey, I'll be drinking. So
it's on the way. Hey, we will all be drinking Saturday. We said it in the last podcast. Tickets are still out there, but going quickly. Come join us at the Weston Whiskey Fest. It'll be pretty fun.
First time we're all together since Tybo's wedding.
Happens like that.
wow. Yeah.
2020, baby.
Come find me in the
LV.
parking lot on Sunday. I'll be there, gate open. La D.
You can yell with Tybo, just
Feel the
like you
rhythm.
all do. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Nope, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. That's all right. It's your saying, and you're not gonna do it, Tybo. Come on.
Set him up
It's not
perfectly.
shotgun time right now. I don't want to take a shotgun.
We'll be on Saturday.
Sunday.
Sunday. I'm not going to shotgun on Saturday.
No, that's fair. Probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be wrecked anyways. Like,
well, make sure to catch us on Tuesday for a recap of the game. I'm sure it will be exciting. We'll have far too many numbers for everyone. But as always, go Chiefs.
go
Go
Chiefs.
Chiefs.